Another trade deadline has come and gone, and what looked like was going to be a pretty quiet day for Jim Rutherford. He ends up pulling off 2 trades for defensemen at the end of the trade deadline. The first one was for Gudbranson for Tanner Pearson, straight up, 1-for-1. And then the next one, which came 20 minutes later around, was for Chris Wideman in exchange for JSD. Let's start with the smaller trade first. We have JSD going to Florida in exchange for Chris Wideman. I actually don't have a problem with this trade. Chris Wideman is just a depth defenseman. I don't see him playing when everyone else returns. And as for JSD going back the other way, I can see people getting upset about that. But you got to remember that with Teddy Bluger playing how he was playing in the NHL, JSD got pushed back even more on the depth chart. I just never saw him getting a chance. This trade allows him to get a chance in the NHL with Florida. I don't really have a problem with this trade. He's nothing but a 4th liner, maybe 3rd liner at best if you play him. Let him get that chance in Florida. Let him play because he's not going to get that chance over here. But I am just going to say, though, Florida, don't send him on waivers because we will claim him. I'm just letting you know. But enough of this. Let's get into the bigger trade. Tanner Pearson to Vancouver in exchange for Gudbranson, 1-for-1. I am a fan of getting rid of Pearson out because he wasn't doing much. And if he wasn't scoring, he wasn't really visible. He didn't kill penalties. And like I said, if he wasn't scoring, he was pretty much invisible on the 4th line. So getting rid of that 3.7 for the next 3 years, I am a fan of. But what I'm not a fan of is getting Gudbranson coming the other way. Before I do go in on this, I'm going to say that I will be giving Gudbranson a chance. I'm not just going to wait for him to get here and call him bad right away from the moment the puck drops in his first game. I will be giving him the chance, but that doesn't mean I can't complain about this trade, which is what I'm going to be doing right now. If we didn't already have Jack Johnson, I'd be more okay with this trade. But now we have 2 defensemen that aren't that good, making up $7.2 million combined. The more I think about this, the more I think that it's just a useless trade. We did not need to do this because when everyone gets healthy, we're not going to need him anymore. And now we're stuck with Gudbranson for 3 years at $4 million. These are the type of trades that got Jim Rutherford fired from Carolina. You got to give Jim Rutherford his props because he really built our back-to-back team. He did a great job in that, but you can't defend him. He's made way more bad moves than good moves ever since our last cup. The Ryan Reeves trade, the Jack Johnson signing, the Matt Hunwick signing, this video is really hard to make because I'm doing my best to not go fully in on Jim Rutherford. I'm trying to give this a chance. Maybe Gudbranson is better than we think. You know, he was playing on Vancouver. They've been pretty bad over the last couple of years. Maybe he's only 27 years old. That's, I think, that kind of surprised me. I thought he was like 30, later 30s. He's 27, so maybe he could turn it around. He was a former top 3 pick. I mean, so was Jack Johnson, but at least he's younger than Jack Johnson. Maybe he's not as bad. But like I was saying, this is a harder video to make because I'm trying to give it a chance, and I don't want to fully go in like the rest of the fan base has so far on Jim Rutherford. So instead, I told you guys to ask me questions on Twitter. So I'm going to answer those for the rest of the video. Why has GM JR been all over the place this season? Just seems like he keeps making stupid move after stupid move. I really don't have an answer for that, but I will say this in JR's defense. His trades haven't been that bad this year. The Bukestad and McCann trade, in my opinion, was really good. The Pearson for Hagelin, it may look bad, but at the time was good because Hagelin wasn't going to resign. The Pearson for Sprong trade, it sucks to give up on Sprong, but Peterson's been good ever since he's been here, and Sprong, I believe, has been a healthy scratch in Anaheim. It's just that his bad moves outweigh his good ones. This trade and the Jack Johnson signing combined is way, way worse than the trades he's made so far. And these type of trades and signings are what is going to make the Penguins miss out on the playoffs because you can't have liabilities on your team. We already have 1 in Jack Johnson. If we have 2, if Gudbranson isn't what he's supposed to be, hopefully just okay. If he's bad like Jack Johnson, this is the type of stuff that's going to make you miss out on the playoffs. Not for this year, but for years to come. Who was a player that you really wanted the Pens to get this deadline but didn't? A guy like Adam McQuaid, who went to Columbus for a couple picks, if I remember correctly. That's a guy that I'd rather have than Gudbranson. Even a guy like Nathan Beaulieu, who went for a 6th-round pick, I believe 10 or 15 minutes right after we made the Gudbranson trade. 6th-round pick to the Jets. So we could have given a 6th-round pick for Beaulieu, who I think could do a better job than Gudbranson, and we don't have to pay him $4 million for the next 3 years. After these trades, are you confident that the Pens will make the playoffs and go on a run? To keep it real with you guys, I am not confident in even making the playoffs at this point, but I will say this. I am not doubting a team with Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Phil Kessel. Chris Letang is back on his game. Brian Dumoulin, hopefully they get healthy. And the key piece for me here, and it goes back to my video from last night, is Matt Murray. Matt Murray could carry this team. And if he's on his game and the guys I just mentioned are on their game, I wouldn't be surprised if we can make the Final Four, maybe the finals. But these type of trades do make me unconfident in this team. What do we do with all these defensemen once Dumo and Letang get back? And that's what I don't understand about this trade. We're in the same spot we were 2 weeks ago when we had Jamie Oleksiak traded for a 4th-round pick because we had too many defensemen. Well, now it's not going to be that easy because you can't trade Jack Johnson for a 4th or a Gudbranson. We're stuck with them unless we give a draft pick or a Brian Russ type of player for another team just to consider taking them off our hands. Why did we get another Jack Johnson, and why do we have to give up JSD? Also, I expect to be mentioned. Just because you said that, I will mention you, don't worry. And as for your question, why do we have to get rid of JSD? Honestly, I guess to make room for Wideman. I really don't have an answer for that. Maybe Florida wanted him. All I know that he wasn't really going to get a chance with the Penguins, so that's why I don't fully have a problem with it. And as for your other question, why do we get another Jack Johnson? I don't know. That's why I'm frustrated with this trade. Everything shows that he's not good. Stats, advanced stats, the eye test shows that he's not good. And you made the mistake once already with Jack Johnson in this year, and you do it again. That's what frustrates me. But that's why I'm not going fully in, because what if it works out? You never know. Who would you rather have in order? Gudbranson, Wideman, Ceci. If you really want to have fun, add Johnson in there too. Well, in order, I'll put Wideman number 1, Cody Ceci number 2, Gudbranson number 3, and then Jack Johnson all the way down low. Not even putting him at number 4. We're putting him at all the way down low because I am not taking Jack Johnson on my team ever. And that's it for the questions. Thank you so much for sending them in. If I didn't get to your question, I apologize. It's either I didn't see it on time or it was the same question, just worded differently. So again, I apologize if I didn't get to your question, but I do thank you for sending them in. I thank everyone. So final thoughts, before we go in on Gudbranson and Jim Rutherford, let's wait a little bit. Let's see, maybe it's a good trade. I really don't like it, but again, we have to wait, give it a couple games. Maybe Gudbranson goes through the Justin Schultz, Trevor Daley, Ian Cole path instead of going through the Jack Johnson path and being terrible. Let's just hope. If not, then Jim Rutherford has some explaining to do because he has 2 defensemen who are terrible, making $7.2 million for the next 3 years, and Jack Johnson for the next 5. If Gudbranson is as bad as Jack Johnson or worse, I'm going to be done with Jim Rutherford. I'm going to be starting to go on the fire Jim Rutherford train. But before I do that, I want to see what this trade is all about. Like when you got Justin Schultz, for example, you could see the potential in him because he was really bad when we got him. He was one of the worst defensemen in the NHL, but he was supposed to be a good puck-moving defenseman. So if you hit the nail on him and you give him confidence, you got yourself a really good puck-moving defenseman, which is what we got in him. With Gudbranson and even Jack Johnson, I don't get what his mindset was behind that. They're both slow. They're both not that good their whole careers. Why would you take a chance on them is my question to Jim Rutherford. I get why you would take a chance on Justin Schultz because at the time I was a fan of that trade because I knew that it was a buy low, high reward option, and it was a high reward, let me tell you that. I just don't get why you would buy low on Eric Gudbranson. He's slow, doesn't fit the system whatsoever. The first thing Gudbranson was described as is a good character guy. I don't get what that even means. Are you telling me that he's bad? Because if you get a good defenseman, you're going to describe them as good puck-moving defensemen, good shutdown guys, good whatever they're good at. Saying he's a good character guy is the thing you said about Jack Johnson. So that's not a good way to start things off, Jim Rutherford. You better hope this works out because so far, it doesn't look good. It just does not look good. Gudbranson is looking like he's going to be another Jack Johnson. He was Vancouver's Jack Johnson. Like I said before, I spoke to Canucks fans, and they're extremely happy that he's off their team. So I don't know why Jim Rutherford took a chance on him, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Jim Rutherford knows something that we don't. But that's it for today, guys. Give me your thoughts on the video. Did you enjoy it? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Drop it a like, share it, whatever, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video.